Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Mr. C of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. I am just making sure I have everything with me over here because I tend to forget stuff sometimes. But welcome, high schoolers. It's been a while. It's been a long time, actually, through the holidays, I should say, Christmas and New Year's. So we've been away from each other for a while, but hopefully you guys have been enjoying your holidays as I have been, and hopefully you've been also keeping busy. If you haven't been, I did say, make sure you. In the meantime, while we're waiting, that you go into our past lessons and kind of review some of the concepts that we've gone over. So hopefully you guys were able to do that. But if not, and you enjoyed your holiday more than anything, hey, that's great too. Either way, guys, I am so happy to be back and doing lessons with you guys again through music theory and composition. So welcome back, and definitely like to wish you a happy new year, guys. Happy new year. We're in 2021, and now it is time to start sort of brand new. We're starting kind of fresh. But if you recall the lessons before, the very last lesson that I had with you guys was based on rhythms, going over mostly the concept of meters. And I'm going to give you like a quick review when it comes to that, so that we're in the know. Some of us who are watching for the first time, some of you guys who are watching for the first time, you may not be knowing what's going on, what happened last time. So definitely I invite you to, first of all, subscribe to this YouTube channel of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Subscribe, and then you will instantly have access to a library of videos, and you'll get to see even the last week's video of what we were talking about when we say meters. Okay, so hopefully you can go back into that video and just kind of bone up on what we were talking about as far as meters, because this is definitely going to apply to today's lesson, where we're actually going to start creating rhythms. But we got to get to know all of the types of notes that we're dealing with. Some of us who are here might actually know this stuff, might actually know some of this, and some of us who are not familiar, this will be like a first time. But definitely still pay attention, because even for some of our seasoned students who have written rhythms before, maybe you've done that before. Maybe you've gone over meters before I came along and started doing it. You might miss a couple of things, or it might be a good refresher for you. So definitely stay and watch, and definitely again bone up on the video from last time. Definitely look at that video, watch it in its entirety, because that's something I've been encouraging a lot of people to do, because a lot of people, sometimes they go onto my videos and they watch about 5 minutes, even 10 minutes of the video, and then they've made up their mind that they know what this is about. No, you don't. I have to say very honestly, meaning no disrespect or anything, but no, you do not. You don't know the whole story. The idea is that when you're trying to build something, especially when it comes to music, when we're trying to build understanding, we want to make sure that we have all the instructions, all the steps right there in front of us. So if we miss anything, if we only look at a little bit of the instructions and not the whole thing, like say instructions to building a furniture, which I've done myself. Of course, I bought new furniture, and then I've had to build it or whatever using the instructions. There were times where my own wife would catch me, and I would look at some of it and go, okay, I know what I'm doing. I build it up, and then I would skip a lot of the stuff that I think I know, but I really didn't, and I should have followed more closely, because then eventually I would end up building the structure, in the reverse order, or in a different way that I didn't count on happening, and then of course it wouldn't hold up, and then my wife would be like, you should have kept looking at the instructions. You cannot skip any steps, she told me, and I'm like, yeah. You're right, dear. Absolutely. So I'd have to go back. I'd have to take some things apart and then go step by step in order. And so, what does that have to do with music? A great deal, because if we don't go step by step, if we don't watch the whole video in its entirety, when we're trying to practice new concepts and get into the habit of understanding these new concepts that I put out, you're not going to get the whole story. And then of course your rehearsals will be a lot more complicated. So and of course, when it comes to to, we're writing, we're doing composition, we're getting a lot of fundamentals when it comes to composition. So if you don't see the whole thing, yeah, there are going to be some things you're going to miss, and you're definitely not going to understand. So guys, definitely stick around for the entire video. When you watch my older videos, yeah, watch the whole thing so that you know everything that's going on, because one thing always begets another. One thing always has something to do with the other, and it fits nicely like a puzzle. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm attempting to do here when it comes to our musical concepts, because there are so many things that we need to learn. You definitely don't want to skip any steps or miss anything. So let's get right to it. Our hymn for today, because as you know, anybody who's been here before, I always like to sing, do like a sing along of hymns. The song is called "When the Saints Go Marching In." A lot of people may actually know this, so if you'd like, and maybe you don't know this song, or maybe you just need a refresher or a reminder of how the song goes, go right into a Google search engine through your phone or your tablet or whatever, and type in "When the Saints Go Marching In" lyrics. When you type that in, those lyrics will pop up right away. So make sure you have those handy so that you can sing along with us. That's something that, again, we like to do. Praise God for the ability to do the things that we're going to do, especially create music and understand music and all that. That gets us into the right frame of mind, because He is the one that created us, and now we're attempting to create music. It all has to do with Him. So join me for that, definitely, to get our minds in the right frame set. So that's "When the Saints Go Marching In." Have it handy, and let's get. Oh, and definitely want to remind everybody to please, if you have not done so, click the subscribe button. I think I said that before. Click the subscribe button. Okay, the more subscribers I get, the more ability I have to put out more of this musical understanding content. Okay, and also click the notifications bell so that you can be kept abreast of upcoming lessons as they come about. Share and like these videos. Let people know Monday through Friday with all the other different grade levels, okay? And especially for more high schoolers, that maybe you guys want to have more of your friends, other people that you know that might be interested in learning how to compose music and do music theory and all that. Yeah, let them know. Every Friday, we're here 4 o'clock American Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So, and also for anybody who wants to be part of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, be a member of that, look on the details for patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, where for a minimum of $1, you can have membership and gain a lot of benefits into learning music, teaching music, all of that good stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I have to offer when it comes to that, but you must be a member in order to gain those benefits. So look in the details of this video. Once again, it's patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Well, without further ado, let's everybody sit up nice and straight, okay? Before we do anything, yes, we're going to praise God. We also want to make sure our bodies are okay. So we do a couple of stretches. I do this with all of my students. And the older we get, high schoolers, the older we get, the more we're actually going to need this. So I would like everybody to right now, even though this looks real funny right now, this is going to look a little silly. Everybody take your hands right now and start rubbing your cheeks in a circular motion. Doesn't matter which direction, just rub it in a circular motion. I know I look funny right now. We're all going to look silly, but this is very necessary because we're about to sing. That means we're going to use our cheek muscles and our lip muscles. So I want everybody to, just rub it in circular motion to get that blood flowing, to get those cheek muscles in working action. Everybody rub them in the other direction. Keep that circular motion. Feel that nice massage, Okay, and everybody, let's do some lip flubs, okay? We're going to flub our lips. So we're going to take a deep breath, and then we're going to flutter our lips. Okay, because, yeah, we use these too. These are a type of muscle, okay? So let's try this again. Make those lip flubs. Take a deep breath in, and... Okay, great job. Okay, and again, it looks silly, but definitely, I guarantee you will feel a lot better, and notice you'll actually notice that singing comes a lot easier when we do things like this. Okay, but let's also now get our vocal cords in order. Everybody, rotate the shoulders. This definitely helps our vocal cords, and feel that nice massage as we're rotating the shoulders. Once again, continue to have good posture by having your back straight. while you do this. And everybody rotate in the other direction. All right. Okay, and now everybody, let's rotate our necks in a circle. I mean, these are kind of exercises we've probably done in PE many times. And so it goes to show you that music has a hand in a lot of different disciplines. Not, music is not just its own entity, but music is involved in everything that we do. Everybody rotate in the other direction. Okay. Nicely done, everybody. Great. Everybody look all the way up. And everybody look all the way down. Everybody look all the way to your right. And all the way to your left. And everybody tilt your head to the right. And tilt your head to the left. And everybody shrug your shoulders and hold it. And drop them. Shrug your shoulders one more time and hold it. And drop them. Everybody reach up into the sky as high as you can, okay? So again, as I was saying, this is some physicality exercises, but this, we're about to sing, so our vocal cords are part of our bodies. This is why I do these stretches, because they actually help the quality of your singing. Again, your vocal cords are part of your body, and and especially in these days, where a lot of times even exercise is limited. Everybody drop your arms. We had him out there for a while, but when exercise and athletics, opportunities for athletics is limited, we could still do exercises in our homes. We could still do these kind of things, and so that's why I encourage health all the time. I mean, even as a side note, I still exercise every morning before I start teaching in the virtually. I teach virtually for the school, the public school that I work for, and every morning I wake up at a good early time so that I can do my exercises, and and they're pretty strenuous. I try to keep very physically fit. I wouldn't say I was the most athletic person in the world, but I've lost some weight in the process. And I've never been more healthier in my life, so exercise is such a big deal, and in high school we tend to take that for granted because we definitely eat a lot and metabolize our food very fast, so most of us in high school age can keep at a good weight despite however much we eat, and that's just biology right there. That's what happens at that age. But as you grow older, everything grows slower, including your metabolism. Everything starts to go slower. So we have to be more careful. You have to make sure we maintain exercise and also have a good, healthy diet. And these are things which I've been trying to attempt to do. And again, I've never been more healthier. So such an important thing. If the body is good, if the body is healthy, the mind is also healthy too. And that's what we're looking to do, making sure mind and body work together very well. Okay, everybody, let's put our hands in front of us for one more exercise and open and close those hands. You don't do this very fast because when you do this exercise very fast, you start pumping the forearms, okay, to gain grip strength. Now we are doing grip strength here, okay, but we don't want to go too fast. We just want to make sure that our appendages are moving nicely, and so we just open and close those hands. Okay, and everybody grip and hold for a while, tighter, and let it go. Shake them out, shake those hands out and those arms up. And everyone stop doing that and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more deep breath in and deep breath out. All right, let's get right to it, guys. So When the Saints Go Marching In, if you don't know the song, hopefully you guys took the time to get these lyrics handy. Have them ready. And I'm going to use my guitar today for our song, okay? And let's always keep in mind the Creator when we're doing this, okay? This is to praise Him and to give thanks for the ability to do everything that we can do, all right? So here we go. When the Saints Go Marching In, follow along as best as you can. Here we go. Oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh, I want to be in that number. when the saints go marching in. And when the sun refused to shine, when the sun refused to shine, I still want to be in that number. When the sun refused to shine, oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, I'm gonna sing as loud as thunder. When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, oh, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. And that was when the saints go marching in. Give yourselves a round of applause if you were able to follow that, okay, pretty nicely with me. If not, that's okay, guys. Make sure that you review this video again. Go back and play this video. Have your lyrics handy and sing along a number of times. And that's how we do it. You do it a number of times through repetition. That's how you get better in all skills. Everything that we do is through repetition. That is what's required to get better. So now let's go to the core of our lesson. And I'm going to do this again. I want to warn you guys, okay? This is what I actually attempted to do. I actually attempted to use my tablet to see if I can get, and I'm sure there is a way that I can go live through YouTube using my tablet, because I do happen to have one of these. It's about equipment and capabilities and everything. I definitely have this stand over here that can hold my tablet very still. Last time we did this, I took my camera. I was able to grab it and view what I was writing down. And I'm sorry I didn't mention this before. Please have a notebook, or definitely your book with your manuscript paper handy. Have that ready with the 5-line staves if you guys have that, if you have that material. If you don't, a notebook will suffice. We're going to take a lot of notes. That's what music theory is about. So make sure you all have that handy. Even grab a few pieces of paper if you can right now, while I'm talking. Definitely go do that. But again, I just wanted to say, so that I'm giving you guys some time to grab your materials. Get a pencil, by the way, also a pencil with a good eraser. Okay, even if you have to have a separate eraser, that'll be good. But we're going to be taking some notes, and if in case you make any mistakes, you can easily erase. But in any event, I try to gather this equipment that I have, and definitely that tablet stand would be able to hold the camera part of the tablet very still, so that I don't have those same issues with the camera that I have as part of the computer. Problem is, for some reason, through my YouTube account, it's not letting me go live. So that's one other thing I'm going to have to conquer. I'm going to have to, see if I can go live from my tablet rather than just this whenever we're doing any writing that you guys have to see. And this way I don't have to hold the camera, and it doesn't start to get blurry, because for some reason that's what this camera does. So if it starts to go blurry, I apologize 1,000 times, a thousand apologies. So sorry. I'm going to try to keep it as still as possible, but still follow along for the most part. The past video, even though it went a little bit blurry, it was still, focused enough where we could see everything that I was writing, and you guys could take notes. So bear with me, be patient. Okay, I am very much trying to get all of my stuff together here. But let's get right to it, everybody. I am going to now grab a hold of the camera. I'm gonna grab a hold of the camera. Okay, and put my laptop elsewhere for the time being. Okay, so if you see any close-ups of me right now, you know why. But in any event, here we go. Now, all right. Okay, so now we're looking at last week's notes. Okay, this was not last week, but 2 weeks ago when we were doing meters. Okay, when we were doing meters, and we were talking a lot about what the meter means. So just a very quick review I'm gonna motion over to this one note that I said, okay, where it tells us that the top number tells us for the meters. Okay, when I say top number, take a look. Every meter will have different numbers, of course. It won't always be 4/4. I also use the examples of 4/8 and 4/2. Okay, but every meter has the numbers piled up on top of each other. So when you're looking at this little notation right here, the top number tells us, that's not a hashtag sign, by the way, for all you young guys. Okay, the top number tells us that the beats per measure. Okay, so when we look at a meter, okay, sorry again, I apologize for the blurriness. I'm trying to keep this very as still as possible. I know that I make sudden movements and it gets blurry, but in any event, here we go. When you see the top number, okay, that is automatically telling us that there are, in this example, there are 4 beats in every measure, 4 beats per measure. Meanwhile, the bottom number is something else. It's a symbol for the kind of note that gets 1 beat. In this case, whenever you see a number 4 at the bottom of a meter, that's telling us that the quarter note gets 1 beat. Okay, so every time we see one of these, okay, every time we see one of these quarter notes, we're always going to know where the 1 beat lies. Every one of these are equal to 1 beat. Now, so again, top number means beats per measure. In this case, 4 beats per measure. Bottom number tells us because it's a number 4 on the bottom, the quarter note will get 1 beat. If it's an 8 on the bottom, then that means the 8th note gets 1 beat. If it's a 2 on the bottom, like this one here, okay, I know it's kind of blurry, but it's a number 2, I promise you. If you have a number 2 at the bottom of the meter, then the half note gets 1 beat. That's what the half note looks like, okay? So this brings me to an understanding now that, we need to also identify these type of notes that I'm talking about. I've mentioned the quarter note. I've mentioned the half note. I've mentioned the 8th note here. So I've mentioned these kind of notes, and we haven't really solidified identifying these notes. So at the bottom here, I want you on your clean sheet, okay, whatever you have there, okay, we're going to head this as notes, okay, all right, and just a little bit of a definition, okay. Notes are symbols of sound, okay? Symbols of sound, okay? I want you guys to get the understanding of that. Notes are what we play, okay? These notes, they're what we play on our instrument or what we sing, okay? These are symbols of sound. Okay, I want you to get that understanding. There are other symbols that mean other things, but notes in music are symbols of sound. So let's talk about these symbols of sound. All right. So I'm going to use my staff, my staff lines over here. We're going to start with this one note. Okay. That I'm going to always write within the spaces between the 2 lines. Okay. And the first note we're looking at is called a whole note. Okay. So everybody write the circle. It's just a circle, an empty circle, and write whole note. Okay, that is a whole note. Okay, as in the whole thing with the W, right? I'm not going to say what this note equals as far as note value. Let me write that on the side. I'm going to put a little asterisk. I'm going to write note values. Okay. So when it comes to note values, that's what I was talking about previously about what equals 1 beat. Okay. Basically, depending on the note and depending on the meter that you're in the song, okay, depending on those meters, that's going to tell us what the note values are. Okay. But right now we're just going over identifying the kinds of notes. Okay. So we're not going to talk about what they're valued at just yet when it comes to these notes, because we have to establish a meter. We have to establish one of these. Okay. And since we're not doing that just yet, we're only going to talk about what these notes are. Okay. So again, a whole note, but I can tell you also this. Okay. No matter what meter you're in, a whole note, let's put it this way, a whole note is actually the biggest note, the biggest. Okay, so let me write that kind of right next to that. Okay, biggest note. Okay, so music, as I mentioned in the previous, is a lot about it's a lot about math. Okay, so when we look at these different type of notes, okay, they do show a type of size through sound. Okay, and the word whole mathematically actually means one, right? It means the number one. Okay? The word whole is the same as saying one in math. So the whole note is the biggest note. We're actually dealing with the biggest note when it comes to this, and it's just an empty circle. Now, if we come over here, I'm going to write this. Okay? Now, this looks like the whole note. It looks like the whole note. It's an empty circle, but it has what we call a stem here. This is a stem. So I'm going to write this. I'm going to write half note. Okay? So now, thinking about this mathematically, a half note is this. It's really 1/2 as far as a fraction is concerned. So I told you guys that, music is math. In math, whole means one, right? Whereas the word half means 1/. Was the biggest note, right? Because we're talking about one entire thing, the whole, right? Well, a half is smaller than a whole. You see that? Fraction wise, this note is smaller. The half note, because it's named after a fraction, is smaller than the whole note, which is named after a whole number, meaning one. So half is smaller than whole. Okay? So let's get that concept right out of the bat. Okay? Now, I'm going to write another note. Okay? This time the circle is colored in with a stem. See, the half note had an empty circle like the whole note and a stem. This one has the colored in circle. It's shaded in this time with a stem. So it looks like the half note, but the note head is shaded in, as you can see. This is known as the quarter note. Okay? Quarter note, meaning what? 1/4. There's your fraction. 1/4. Okay? Now, think in terms of size, right? When we think of measurements, right? 1/4, fractions, 1/4. Excuse me, I had a little sneeze there, sorry. But 1/4 is smaller than 1/2. A quarter is smaller than a half. Okay? So you see how I'm downsizing, I'm breaking them apart. Whole, I'm going from the whole to a half because it takes two halves to make a whole, right? And then I'm going from the half to the quarter note. It takes 2/4 to make what? A half. Okay? So you see that? The quarter note is smaller than the half note, in which it takes 2/4 to make a half. Okay? So you see the math happening there. Okay? Now, from the quarter note, last week we talked about the let me write that better. Let me write that stem better. Okay, connected better. Now we talked about this note. Okay, this is known as the eighth note. Okay, the eighth note. What's that fraction wise? 1/8. Yeah, 1/8. 1/4, right? That's the quarter note. The eighth note, meaning 1/8. Okay. Notice the difference now when it comes to the eighth note, shaded in note head with a stem, but then on the end, on the top of that, a little flag or a little tail, if you will. Okay, that is your eighth note, and so now it takes on a different a different look. Okay, but not only that, as because it's called the eighth note, that is smaller than the quarter note. It actually, mathematically, it takes 2/8 to equal a quarter, right? So you see how we're breaking down. Okay, we're getting smaller as we go along. Okay, that's why I say that the whole note itself is actually the biggest note. It's the biggest note we are dealing with when it comes to music. Okay, and the last note I do want to show you. Okay, now look at it here. This looks just like the eighth note. It looks just like it. Has a shaded in note head with a stem, but then it has these. Then it has not just one tail or one flag, but two. Okay, those two flags make this a 16th. A 16th note. Okay. So you can imagine what that looks like. What is that? What does that symbolize fraction wise? A 16th note is what? 1/16. Okay. And if we're thinking about size again, as we've been going smaller in size, yes, a 16th note is smaller than the eighth note. Okay, because fraction wise, it takes two of these, 2/16 to equal 1/8. To equal an eighth. Okay, 2/16 to equal an eighth. Okay, so we've gotten even smaller than that. Okay, and just for your information, not that we're going to get into this very soon, really, but there's actually another one. Here we go. Now we've got three flags, three, guys, and this is known as a 30-second note. Okay, which is what? 1/32. It takes 2 30 seconds to equal a 16th. Okay, and they are symbolized by the shaded in note head with a stem and three flags as opposed to the two in the 16th note. Okay, so now we've gotten even smaller than that. Okay, but we're not going to use this. I mean, there are examples of music where they use 30-second notes. Okay, that's not something that we're going to get into using right away, but I wanted you guys to be aware that it does exist and they do use it from time to time. And, we may even use it as an example, but definitely not anytime soon. Okay, so let's review the notes that we've gone, that I've showed you. Our biggest note, a whole note, a simple empty circle. That's what it looks like. When we break it down, smaller size, half note, circle, but with a stem. The circle is the note head, okay? And that line that attaches to it is known as a stem. Half note, just half of a whole, right? It takes two halves to make a whole. Then when we go further over here, the quarter note. The quarter note, shaded in note head with a stem, okay? Takes 2/4 to make a half, right? So it's smaller than that. Now we break it down even further, and we have the eighth note, shaded in note head, stem, and a little flag or a tail, okay, depending on how you want to look at it, okay. And this is an eighth note. 1/8 takes 2/8 to make a quarter. Then we go further to the 16th note. 16th note has shaded in note head with a stem, two flags, double flag, okay. 2/16 equal an eighth. Then lastly, just for our information, of course, the 32nd note, shaded in note head, stem, three flags, three tails, okay? And it takes 2 30 seconds in order to make a 16th, okay? So these are the notes, for the most part, that are done, that are used, okay, in music. And we're going to probably do a lot of from whole note to the 16th note, not really the 32nd note. Okay. Actually, just before we leave, there is one more note. There is one other one. And as you can guess, not 3 flags, but 4. Okay, 4 flags. And that is known as the 64th notes. Okay, 64th note. Okay, and that fraction wise, 1 over, oops, where's my mind at? I'm still on the 16th thing. Okay, but 1 over 64. Okay, 2 64ths, 2 of these will equal 1 32nd note. Okay, there it is. All right, so 2 of these equal 1 of these. Okay. All right, guys. So there you have it. There's our different identity of notes. Okay. Next time we meet, we're actually going to put some rhythms together. We're going to settle in on, we're going to use a couple of meters as an example, settle in on a meter, and then use these different notes in a rhythm example, writing a rhythm example. Okay. So these are the types of notes. Take a look at them. Make sure you have these written down. Okay. Practice writing them across the way, just for neatness. Practice writing them from one end of the staff to the other. Okay. From left to right. Okay. Notice how I did it. I would, with the note head, the empty note heads, I just do a circle. The stem goes on the right side, and then for the other note heads, like the quarter notes and on, I would just shade it in and then draw the line right next to it. Okay, but this is how they actually look. Okay, all right, guys. Let me put the camera now. Focus it on me. Enough weird close-ups and blurriness happening. All right. But as I said before, okay, let me just fix that. All right. As I said before, make sure that you guys are taking the notes that I just did, and just for neatness, for just for practice and neatness, write these notes on your staff paper from left to right. Practice doing that so that you can get better, just in your penmanship when it comes to music. And again, next week we're going to look into using a meter and then writing a rhythm example of our own. Okay. And the more we do this, the more practice we get into this type of writing, the better we're going to be, especially fundamentally about rhythms. Rhythm really, and the reason why I do this too, because rhythms are a very foundational skill to have, because rhythms are what drives us whenever we're doing, even if we're doing anything melodically, even if we're doing any chord patterns or anything like that, no matter what songs we're trying to create, rhythm is what drives everything. Okay. So you don't have to be a drummer to appreciate rhythm. Okay. They always do rhythm because it's all about, banging and scraping and shaking. It's all about that when it comes to percussionists. Okay. But even if you're a guitarist, even if you're a singer or anything like that, rhythm is what drives us through. Okay. Without rhythm, it's like your body not having a heart to have a heartbeat. Okay. You don't have a heartbeat. Guess what? Music is dead. That's the idea. Okay, guys. So rhythm is the heartbeat of music. You need rhythm to carry music along. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching. Hopefully you got a lot out of this, guys. And I can't wait to be back next week for another lesson. Okay, with you high schoolers. And I want to remind everybody to subscribe if you haven't. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can bring more of this content out to you guys. And also like and share these videos. Let people know Monday through Friday with all these different grade levels I'm doing. Music lessons for all for free. You can't get it anywhere else. And watch these videos. Continue to practice these concepts and hit the notifications bell for upcoming classes so that you are aware of them as they come along. I'd like to give a shout out to my people, to all my people in the United States, as well as in South America, as well as in China, Japan, India, Philippines, Sri Lanka, UK, Australia. All you folks have been continuing to watch my videos. You know, I'm getting a lot of viewers doing that. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you watching me and this content, and so glad that you're getting a lot out of this, guys, and so glad that in that way I've gotten to know you. You guys are my friends, always joining us. Please let more people know about this so that we can continue to do more music together and be united in that. Thank you very much, guys, again, for all your support and watching this and watching my YouTube channel. And as always, I wish you guys happy practicing. Happy New Year, everybody. I can't wait to see what comes along the line as we go along. I can't wait to see what comes along, and you know, how everything, all these fundamental stuff, these small steps unfold into something where you guys are writing your own songs. Okay, everyone, have a good one. Take care. Stay healthy. All right. Bye-bye.